PHD Chamber of Commerce and Industry was established in 1905, 117 years young chamber. Initially, we were there in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi. Now, in today's date, we are in 16 states and 5 union territories. The PHD Chamber of Commerce and Industry reaches out to more than 150,000 companies. And these companies, majority are in the small and medium enterprises. We of course have large companies also. And what is our role? What is the role of the PHD Chamber? What are we trying to do? Now, like I mentioned, our Honorable Prime Minister is looking at making India, from a present USD 2.8, 2.9 trillion economy to a USD 5 trillion economy, doubling farmers' income, housing for all, water connections to every household, education, skilling. Now, we as a chamber, it is our job that as Team India, we have to work with our government to achieve all these aims and all these goals. Now, whatever are the pain points at the ground level, we bring it out to the knowledge of the government that, look, these are the pain points, where if we remove these pain points, the goals which you have set can be very, very easily achieved at the very earliest. So we are actively working with all our members to make sure, because the country will, our country's revenue will be double only if our members, revenue doubles also. So we are here committed to nation building.
And it's a wonderful achievement. So can you tell us some of the numbers, the number of companies, some of the achievements, some of the things, at least the most updated ones? It's always good to listen from you. And I have some numbers, and it's quite impressive numbers.
Like I mentioned, we reach out to 150,000 companies, and some of them are really giants in the field. I would say practically all big companies are members also. I mean, if I can just name a few, there is DLF, which is the biggest, construction company of India. We have JK Tires. We have Kajaria, top in tiles, #1 company in tiles in India. We have Kent RO System, which is the biggest in water purification systems. Then we have in the herbal sector, in the Ayush sector, where I am, we have Dabur, we have Multani, Hamdard. So, I mean, practically all the big companies are our members. And the more important part also is that apart from these big companies, we have the small and medium enterprises. Now, these MSMEs, the micro, small and medium enterprises, are the people who generate the maximum employment. They are exporting roughly 50% of what we are exporting, out of the country. Now, they are also our members. And it is very, very important that these MSMEs, the micro, small and medium enterprises, they need a lot of hand-holding and support. The big companies of large companies can handle themselves. So we as a chamber support actively each and every member that if they have any issue, which is not of a personal nature, but a industry issue, we take it up with the government and we do our level best to be able to, ease that pain and be able to help them grow.
Amazing. So one of the things that the Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber services provide is certification services, EPR services, and tenders and water audits and different things. So can you tell us about the certification services and how it works, the supply chain related to certification service, for instance, in India? I think for people worldwide that want to as well to listen how to work and as well to understand more the Indian economy and the Indian business.
Yeah. You see, PHD Chamber has been authorized by the Government of India to issue certificate of origin, non-preferential to Indian exporters, in accordance with Article 2 of the International Convention relating to simplification of customs formalities 1923. In addition to issuing the non-preferential certificate of origin, the Chamber also attests and certifies commercial documents for export-oriented companies and issues visa recommendation letter to member companies. PHDCCI had launched the digital platform for issuance of e-certificate of origin. PHDCCI is one of the oldest and leading agency authorized by the Government of India to issue the non-preferential COOs, Certificate of Origin. The e-platform is seamlessly issuing COOs to export houses at the comfort of their office or home while reducing the transaction cost of export to the companies. It issues close to 50,000 COO annually to Indian export houses. Currently, the Chamber is also issuing certificate of origin through the online portal of the Directorate General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, apart from the hard copy issuance. It also gives me immense pleasure to inform you that the certification services of the Chamber was working throughout the lockdowns imposed during the pandemic for cause and benefit of the Indian industry.
Impressive, and congratulations for that work, especially like you said, bearing in mind that, for instance, the UK paralyzed, the US has been going still with a lot of challenges. So you did a fantastic work, and especially during these times of challenging. So one of the things that I want to talk, and of course I will like to take the interview a bit bigger. So India is around, at least international standard numbers, is 42 million SMEs. That represents around 45% of India workforce and exports. I would like to hear your views around this, and as well the efforts of the PhD Chamber, because you are a significant organization on this context.
You see, the small and medium-sized enterprises play a central role in driving India's economic growth and development at the regional and global platforms. The SME sector in India has demonstrated remarkable resilience in the last few years to sustain a high growth rate even in the face of global and economic slowdown. The sector in the last few years to sustain a high growth rate even in the face of global and economic slowdown. The sector plays a pivotal role in employment generation, use of technology, industrial development across rural regions, use of traditional and inherited skill, mobilization of local resources, and has low capital requirements. However, the sector is still encountered with various major bottlenecks, including lack of finance, high operational costs, complicated procedures, lack of awareness, technology, obsolescence, and so on. All these problems are hindering the sector to grow to its potential rate. We at the Chamber are working at the grassroots level with the strong national and international linkages. The Chamber acts as a catalyst in the promotion of industry, trade, and entrepreneurship. PhD Chamber, through its research-based policy advocacy role, positively impacts the economic growth and development of the nation, and taking up all these issues of the MSMEs with the government and ensuring that these, whatever pain points they have, all the issues which I mentioned, are sorted out by the government. And we are fortunate that we have a wonderful government. They listen to us and they make sure that the pain points are removed. Now, in the Chamber, apart from national and regional economic and industrial related issues, we also have corporate affairs, taxation, finance and banking, capital markets, infrastructure and energy, labor and industrial relations, human resources, and skill development, tourism, agribusiness, environment, etc., as our focus centers also. So these are where we feel that the nation, that we can work really actively with our central government and state governments to take India forward.
That's amazing, and I think it's really a very important thing. So, like you mentioned, COVID-19 was very disruptive, but India actually managed quite well, bearing in mind all the weakness that actually created, and actually all the issues that created for the world economy, for the world populations, and for the world healthcare systems. So one of the things that came probably more positive for the COVID-19 was that effectively the digital transformation levels became much bigger. So effectively, most of the business kept going digitally, like events like what you're doing right now through internet platforms, Zooms, and a lot of other events. So I would like to hear, so India in one end is a powerhouse in terms of technology and IT. In one end, of course, is building right now, even in more advanced areas like blockchain. There's a lot of things happening right now in India as well. So I would like to hear how you are right now coping with the areas of digital transformation within the PhD Chamber of Commerce, and in general, your efforts and what you've been seeing happening around you and the companies that you represent.
Yeah. You see, when the second wave of coronavirus engulfed the country, PhD Chambers donated 12 oxygen plants to 12 hospitals that were in need to fulfill the oxygen demand for the critical patients affected from the coronavirus. PHDCCI had established a COVID helpline for members, employees, family members, and friends to call in the event of an emergency during the pandemic. The Chamber had offered services in the areas of medical consultation, oxygen and hospitalization, so that any member of PhD chamber, employees or family members or friends who require any COVID aid can call the helpline and have their needs for hospital beds, oxygen, or any other medical supplies met. PHDCCI has also organized vaccination drive. In this vaccination drive, Chamber has included all our members, factories, employees also. The main goal of these vaccination campaigns was to make everyone, each and everyone vaccinated. Being the voice of industry and trade, the PhD Chamber has been focusing the past few months on several cohesive strategies for India's sustained economic expansion and is advocating new recommendations to the government. These transformations are being driven by India's technological expertise, accelerated adoption of digitalization, invigorating entrepreneurial spirit and disruptive startup culture, the aspects of the Indian business landscape that the Chamber well recognizes and appreciates. The Chamber continues to play a proactive role of deliberating with policymakers on important issues concerning the economy.